Hey, Ravens fans, I'm excited today. Stephen A has something to say about the Ravens. Let's see what he has to say. Let's do it.
Swagoo, there is no excuse for the Baltimore Ravens knowing that a Deshaun Watson has $230 million guaranteed, that a Kyler Murray has $189 million guaranteed, that a Russell Wilson has $165 million guaranteed. There is no excuse for the Baltimore Ravens to offer Lamar Jackson $133 million in guaranteed dollars. That is criminal. They have no business doing that. That's incredible.
So, guys, again, and I talked to you guys about this too. I heard the same thing. He is 100% right. It is criminal. It's criminal to offer someone $70 million less. Again, you guys can say he's not worth the $200 million. That's fine, but he's not. But he's worth something above that. There's rumors that Daniel Jones is going to get more than $130 million guaranteed. Daniel Jones sucks, guys. Let's just put it out there. He's definitely not Lamar Jackson. It's criminal. It's crazy. Stephen A is right on this. I hope he starts to cook because it is not right that you're doing that to Lamar Jackson, especially if he put his body on the line for you. He's your first ever MVP. He is Baltimore to a lot of Ravens fans, especially a lot of new Ravens fans. And again, we complain about not getting primetime games and not getting Monday night games. The reason that we're getting them more recently than we had before is Lamar Jackson. So Stephen A. Smith is 100% right.
Incredibly insulting, and I don't blame him for feeling insulted. However, I would not give him a fully guaranteed deal either. He's missed the last 5 games of the last 2 seasons. All right, the best ability is availability, but also reliability. He misses on those 2 categories, availability and reliability. That in and of itself compromises the ability for you to walk around with your chest stuck out talking about you deserve fully guaranteed dollars. That's for the Iron Men in the National Football League.
But see, here's an issue that we're going to run into then, right? Then you're gonna have to tell me why quarterbacks get paid, right? Why do quarterbacks get paid? Dak Prescott got paid, wasn't fully guaranteed, but he was hurt, and it was a serious injury. Deshaun Watson got paid. Deshaun Watson is not as good as Lamar, and he didn't play a full season and a half. That's not reliable or available. And I don't care. Everyone can say the Browns messed it up. I don't care. I don't care. The fact of the matter is that there's an NFL quarterback playing today in the same division as Lamar, with less results, getting paid more money. And I don't care about anything else but that, to be 100% honest. So you guys can kill me in the comments. I don't care. I don't care.
Not that anyone really exists. We understand that. But for the most part, somebody that you can rely upon to be there when it counts. Not one, but the last 2 seasons, Swagoo. He's missed the last 5 games of the regular season and obviously playoff competition. You can't do that and expect a fully guaranteed deal. What I would tell you is that the brother is 45-16 as a starting quarterback in the National Football League. He's the greatest run.
45-16, I believe that is 4th all time through that many games.
From the quarterback position the game of football has ever seen in its history. He is electrifying, he is mercurial, and he wins football games at least during the regular season, although he only has 1 playoff victory in 4 tries.
So does, if I remember correctly, so does Josh Allen. He might have won 1 this year, so maybe he has 2. But again, Josh Allen, no one debates his greatness. The only quarterback, guys, who wins in this league consistently right now is Patrick Mahomes. That's it. Every other person either has a better team than Lamar has had or got hot, right? That's it. And so that's not fair to Lamar, in my opinion. But I'm just letting y'all know.
At the end of the day, I believe, Swagoo, that warrants $200 million in guaranteed money in today's NFL economy. If you want to offer him $250, $300, $350 million, but $200 million is guaranteed, I think that's fair. all right, that he gets more guaranteed dollars than a Kyler Murray or even a Russell Wilson at this particular moment in time. They shouldn't be foolhardy and give him $230 million just because the Cleveland Browns desperately went about the business of giving that to Deshaun Watson. But $200 million in guaranteed dollars is not off kilter considering what the other quarterbacks in the National Football League are getting. That is more than fair, okay? That is respectful, and I get that. The $133 million guaranteed, that's a damn insult.
100% right. That is 100% disrespectful. I do want to comment though. What I want to know, and if are there any capologists in the comments, please let me know. What's the difference between 200 million and 230 million? We know that's 30 million is nothing for the Ravens. They're $1 billion franchise, right? It's nothing to the richest man in Maryland. So who does this hurt? You let me know because I don't know the difference. And if 230 over 5 years gets your quarterback that is an MVP winner, and a fan favorite in the building, then why not do that? I just don't. Especially if you're going to do 200 million, right? What's the number? If the number is 130 million, we're not going above that, then of course you're not going to get that deal done ever. This is just insulting deal. It's insulting.
Today's NFL economy for a quarterback of his stature, but that doesn't mean it should be fully guaranteed. 200 million guaranteed should be a fair and equitable target for both sides.
And so you make a great point about the fully guaranteed, and I get what you're saying. I think they did make a mistake. And the reason why I think they made a mistake is because even if you don't want to couch it in that language, get him the $230 million of money that you are going to pay him over the course of whatever particular years, if that's the number that you look at as guaranteed, right? We act like that's the only way you can structure a contract, is to say that we gonna fully guarantee, like you said, $350 million over 10 years. Just make sure it's 230 that I'm gonna put in my bank account. That's my point when saying that they made a mistake by not giving him a fully guaranteed contract. Yeah, I got you. But as say when you say 200, all right, you got to put yourself in Lamar Jackson's situation in this particular thing. And you talk about the 5 games missed last year. You talk about the 5 games missed the year previous. Stephen A., let me ask you a question. Which team asked their quarterback to do more for them in the National Football League than the Ravens ask of Lamar Jackson? Find me one. Find me one for their particular success. So let's understand and work under the premise that we're not negotiating just a normal quarterback situation. Yes, you got your guys like Patrick Mahomes, that's anomalies. And they play at such a high level that you can't make an argument about what they've achieved and the things that they do as individuals. But when it comes to Lamar Jackson, it's like we talk about when you talk about guys in the NBA. When LeBron James is on a basketball team, he's the reason that basketball team has a tremendous amount of success. And he impacts and influences the way that everybody else plays on that football team. You just mentioned 45-16 in his career as a starting quarterback in the league. And we sitting here today talking about Lamar Jackson not having a contract. Now, I'm one of the ones, and you're one of the ones that sat on television and fought and pleaded that Dak Prescott gets a contract with the Dallas Cowboys from Jerry Jones. We talked about that for a couple of years as far as him getting money. And we sit here today, and Lamar Jackson not only doesn't have a contract, has to fight for a contract to get more guaranteed money than Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, and guys that have not accomplished the things that he's accomplished. So yes, it may be a little bit of my petty bone juice coming through, but Lamar Jackson shouldn't touch the football field for the Baltimore Ravens based on what he's been asked to do, based on his impact on that football team, based on not. We have this conversation all the time about Aaron Rodgers not getting guys. Go look at the guys that Lamar Jackson has had to throw the football to in Baltimore. It's a lot of things, Stephen A., and it becomes personal, especially, and it can be for me because I'm talking about it. Yes.
And so again, a couple of things here before he keeps on going. I hate this. Like, why does it have to be guaranteed? Why not? why do we as people, just because things haven't been done before, doesn't mean that's right. Just because you haven't done something doesn't mean you should never do it, right? You can also say the opposite way. Just because you've always done something a way doesn't mean it's the right way. And in a sport like football, you should get all the money that you're guaranteed. Now, if the NFL has to change and do shorter contracts, I'm fine with that, right? Because again, these contracts are artificially long, right? So you guys know that the massive deal that Patrick Mahomes signed, you guys know that the way the contract is structured, that if Patrick Mahomes got injured, let's say this year, the money's only guaranteed until next year. So so just perfect example, if he plays next season and gets hurt week 1, they have to pay him his guarantee money for that year and the next year, but his 10-year contract can get cut off and they have a out. That's not right. That's not dealing fairly. That's just numbers that you're putting on to make it look good. And Lamar said, I don't want to just look good. I want to get paid good. Pay me what I'm worth. Pay me the money. And guess what? What a quarterback is worth has gone up. Deshaun Watson raised the price tag. Sorry, not sorry. And so pay the man what he's worth. Swagoo was right toward the end. He was cooking. It's 100% true that there isn't a quarterback that does more for his team than Lamar Jackson on offense. Every single piece of the offensive game is based around Lamar Jackson. Let's just take, of course, the passing game. We don't even have to talk about that. But even the rushing game, not only his ability to rush, but again, Gus Edwards is different with Lamar on the field. J.K. Dobbins hasn't been with Lamar in a long time, so I don't want to comment on him too much. Plus, when Lamar wasn't there, he still played well. But all these other running backs, offensive linemen play better. The coaching looks better with Lamar. Lamar does it all for this offense. So Swagoo was right about that. Let's see where he's going with his petty bone. Let's find out. Let's find out.
They made a mistake by not giving them the guaranteed money because of what they've asked him to do.
Which teams should pursue Lamar the most?
I'm going to give you one team, Molly Q, the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins. Think about this, guys. First of all, we've seen Tua. All
right, guys. Listen. I know y'all been hating on me. Man, you guys gotta look in the comments on some of these other videos. I said, hey, the Dolphins might want to take a stab at this. And y'all killed me. You guys roasted me. You guys said all these bad things. Oh, Miami don't got the picks. Miami don't got the space. I'm just telling y'all what I'm hearing in the streets. Okay? That's all I'm telling y'all. All right? I'm not making this up, guys. It's not Madden. I'm not choosing who they get traded to. I'm telling you what's in the streets. Okay? And the streets are saying this. That's all I'm saying. They're saying that the Dolphins are an option. The Dolphins and the Falcons are the biggest options. That's what the streets are saying. All right? That's all. All right. I'm going to get back to it. But don't yell at me. Yell at Swagoo, okay? I'm just telling you what the streets are saying. That's it.
We've seen the injuries. Shout out to Stephen A. for being in Miami, by the way. This should set off some things on the radio there. We've seen Tua, and obviously the concussions, and you don't want to see that to happen to anyone. But when we get to the business of football in all season, it has to be in the mind of this brass, of Chris Greer, the general manager, and Mike McDaniels, the head coach. You think about bringing Lamar Jackson back home. Guys, there's a business element to this as well. Could you imagine what it would look like in Miami if Lamar Jackson was playing quarterback right down the street? The type of season ticket sales that would go through the roof, the type of stadium atmosphere that you would have with him being home. You think about having Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. You think about this offense with a prolific runner at the quarterback spot and doesn't get enough credit for his high ability to throw the football. Now you would couple him with receivers that he hasn't had the opportunity to have in Baltimore. You would couple him with a defense that's coming along. New head coaching hiring Vic Fangio. Be supported by the guys that are around him and not have.
And so I do want to comment. He's talking about why I'd be so great for Lamar. We'll be great for Lamar to go home, have actually good receivers, actually a good offensive coordinator who has proven that he can call plays and make Tua look great. And again, like he said, this is the biggest thing. There's a business aspect of this, right? If you polled fans in Miami right now and asked them what quarterback would they want to lead their team, any quarterback, you can have any quarterback, they would choose Lamar Jackson, hometown kid. They would, even over Patrick Mahomes. Now, maybe, other cities, of course, would take Patrick Mahomes, but not Miami, right? If you ask Atlanta, hey, what quarterback would you love to have? And even though Patrick Mahomes is a black quarterback, there, again, we're not going to lie here. There's a difference between black and mixed in communities. All right, whatever. So if you asked them and you polled them, the regular, everyday person, not, the super guy in football who's into the X's and O's, go on the streets of Atlanta and say, you want Lamar Jackson or you want Patrick Mahomes. Most of them will say Lamar Jackson because the way he plays reminds them of Michael Vick, who they love. So it's the business makes too much sense for those two teams specifically. Specifically for those two teams, it makes too much sense. Another team that is not more so much of a business thing, but more of a winning thing is, of course, the 49ers. I mean, can you just imagine what Kyle Shanahan could do there? But we're not going to get there because I think that's a far off one. But I've been hearing it in the streets. I know you guys don't like when I hear stuff in the streets and let you guys know, but that's what I'm hearing. But again, Miami and Atlanta for sure. That's scary because that could be enticing to both those teams and to Lamar. Because even though Lamar is playing in Baltimore, remember, guys, these are jobs to them, right? Just because they were drafted to Baltimore doesn't mean they live and love Baltimore. Okay? Right? All the Baltimore Ravens players that we love, they moving after they done and retiring. Only the greats, buy a vacation home in Baltimore. All the other ones go back to Miami, Texas, Florida, LA, whatever they want to go. So that's just the truth.
Have to be 100% of this offense. I think Miami would be a phenomenal destination for Lamar Jackson. I think they should really explore trying to make it happen.
It's hard for me to argue with that point because you got Jalen Waddle and the man, Tyreek Hill. Certainly that's a big-time situation, not to mention the fact that not only do you have that, but you have a highly motivated Tyreek Hill who swore up and down by leaving Kansas City for Miami, albeit it was obviously for his money. That's all he had to say and left it at that. Instead, he took it a step further, trying to act like Tua Tagovailoa was on the same level as Patrick Mahomes, which was blasphemous. Now, Tua could ball, and he showed he could ball, but his durability is a question mark naturally. And now his career is in jeopardy because we just look at his health and we're like, damn, how are you going to really handle that? And so I definitely don't necessarily, I'm in no position to disagree with that. I would say this, however. I think that, obviously the weapons that you have available to you should be a primary concern if you're a quarterback on the offensive side of the ball. But I got to tell you, having an elite defense does matter. And when I think about the New York Jets in the New York market, I think the combination of those two things for a caliber of talent, the likes of Lamar Jackson, is just as appealing as Miami, albeit for different reasons. It's clearly your franchise. Garrett Wilson can ball, all right, so that's a target. Breece Hall can run the football, so that's somebody to take a load off of you. And then I got a defense that's going to give you a boatload of opportunities to showcase your skills because they're going to get off the field because they're going to make stops. So again, I'm not disagreeing with you. I get where you're coming from as it pertains to...
Guys, I don't, this is not really on topic, but the AFC is such a tough conference now, guys. I mean, goodness gracious. Just think about it, right? All the teams that are already, championship contenders, Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, right? Then you have teams that are on the fringe. Us, right? The Jaguars. And when I say fringe, they made the playoffs, right? We didn't make the playoffs, but we are on the fringe. We did make the playoffs, but we just lost the first round. It was quick, so I forgot. But us, the Jaguars, the Chargers, all those fringe teams, and then you got teams again like the Dolphins, like the Jets, that are one player away from becoming Super Bowl contenders, right? It's just, this division is crazy. It's crazy. To speak on what Stephen A is saying, I hear the fit from a X's and O's perspective and a talent perspective. I don't think Lamar wants to go to New York. Lamar's a lower key type of guy. It gets cold in New York and it gets cold in Baltimore, but not like that New York cold, boy, I tell you. And so, oof, man, you guys ever been to New York on New Year's Day? It's another story. So I don't think he wants to go there really, especially when you can go to Miami. That's and I think Miami number one, of course, Atlanta number two, and then maybe New York. I think San Francisco, but maybe New York. But let's see how they wrap it up.
Miami, probably more attractive. Well, let me take that back. Definitely more.
Okay, yeah.
But the point that I'm trying to make is definitely, but on the football field, I'm just saying that it's comparable to the attractiveness of the Miami Dolphins, albeit for different reasons. But the marketing portion of it, New York works better. The lifestyle after practice and the games are over clearly falls in favor. I'm just saying. I just think it's important to point out.
Listen. The first take moniker is to disagree. Stephen A. All I heard when you was talking about the New York Jets, all I heard was, and then you got to Miami, and we both agreed. You could have just said we agree, and Miami is the best destination for us.
No, it really does make a lot of sense.
We don't have a problem.
Yeah.
It really does. From a football
I guess everybody loves my.
Well, let me tell you this, and I think you'll agree with me here. They didn't make a mistake by not giving him fully guaranteed dollars.
And guys, thanks for sticking.
What
sorry about that.
Watson is making. Because everybody can see Cleveland.
I just want to say thank you for sticking with me. This is a long video. They actually put a couple videos together, so we're going pretty long here. But we got a little bit more. So thank you guys. And let's finish.
And when we say Cleveland was desperate, we're not
Desperation.
talking about Cleveland's desperate now. We're talking about from an historical perspective. This is a franchise that hasn't won a championship since Jim Brown was playing in the 50s. They're desperate, all right? So we understand that even as great as Deshaun Watson is, because he's something special, and I think he'll show it this upcoming season, the fact of the matter is that props to his agent for getting him the dollars that he get him, because they had no business giving him $230 million guaranteed. But everywhere else is in line. So when we think about Russell Wilson, yes, he's a Super Bowl champion, but at the bottom line is that he hasn't been what he once was for the last several years. Kyler Murray, I think Kyler Murray is the team. Arizona has improved every year up until this season under him. But the bottom line is he doesn't deserve as much as Deshaun Watson. So what we're really saying is it wasn't that Baltimore made the mistake of not guaranteeing the full contract or even $230 million.
Right.
It's that you insulted him with the 133. There's a difference, because we could go to the negotiating table. I know the difference between a respectable offer and an insulting offer. Now, I might not like it and I might want more, but if I'm able to look at your offer and say it's respectable, then it's a negotiation that's depersonalized. Yep. But when you insult me, now it's become personal. And that's what we're talking about here as it pertains to Lamar Jackson. Also, let's keep in mind when you bring up LeBron James, this is the NBA.
So before they get in that, I mean, that's a great point. I mean, guys, that first number does mean something. And, we can say whatever we want, but if Lamar got that number and he saw it and was like, dog, that's almost $100,000 less than Deshaun. 100,000. See, even 100,000 is a lot. It's $100 million less than Deshaun. Y'all are going crazy. Y'all are crazy right now. And that could sour a relationship very quickly. Just very, very, very quickly. And if they did that, which I do believe they did, that's just not right, and that's not good. That's not good mojo. And again, it's weird because we have the money, so that's just weird. But hey.
So you got soft cap situations. NFL's hard cap. And so a team has to take all of it in consideration and consider the collateral damage. Paying one dude an exorbitant amount of money would cost him. Now, I get your point about what they ask of him, which is why I say you're not even hitting it in the middle. $133 to $200 million, it's not in the middle. It's leaning more towards Lamar Jackson's way, but not being fully guaranteed because, my brother, you have missed the pivotal point of the last 2 seasons. 5 games of last Stephen, 5 weeks of the last 2 seasons. And that we can't ignore that.
So let me and you figure this out, right? And basically what I was saying, and the analogy with LeBron was just the ability, like what he means to what you do as an organization or a franchise. That was the analogy. Let me ask you this, okay? Because we so hung up on this $230 million guaranteed, and it's a fully guaranteed contract for Deshaun Watson. Let me ask you this. What about $230 million guaranteed, and you got an 8-year deal, and it's still $230 million guaranteed? See, here's the problem that I've had with the Baltimore Ravens, because I heard, remember when we were on the show, and I had to ask, is this serious about 133 guaranteed? First of all, to your point, which is an absolute insult and an abject failure by the Baltimore Ravens to realize what he's meant to that organization. The other thing is this. When you look at Lamar Jackson and you think about what he's meant to the Baltimore Ravens franchise, let's just talk about the quarterback position and what he's meant to that offense. And even though people bring up the one playoff win, the success that they've had with Lamar Jackson at quarterback can be compared to all of the organizations that are top tier. Outside of winning Super Bowls, we gotta eliminate Kansas City. But when you talk about consistently vying for the playoffs in the first years of a quarterback's career, Lamar Jackson is squarely in the conversation for one of those guys that will continuously have you there with the ability to go into the postseason and potentially win. So when you come to the table with 133 guaranteed, and I'm sure somebody's going to say it was more. No, let me tell you, guaranteed money to NFL players means what am I depositing into my bank account without any stipulations attached to it. That's what it means. All of the other money, it was 200, but they had injury clause. No, that is not what we're talking about. We're talking about what is he going to get when he signs this piece of paper, no matter what happens or transpires going forward. That is where I am with Lamar Jackson. Work out a deal where you can pay him $230 million in guaranteed money if we want to rework it and re-say it that way. But don't focus on the fact that the contract got to be fully guaranteed.
All right. So a couple of things. That last part was nonsense. That last part was just utter nonsense. Don't let people take advantage of you like that. That's nonsense. I don't want 250 million because I like the number, or you know what I'm saying. I don't want that because the number's a cool number. I don't want 231 million because that's my lucky number. I want it because the other guy got it over 5 years and I'm better than him. That's why I got it. That's why I want it. I want the market rate. What is the market rate for a franchise quarterback? Okay? And I don't care what you say. You guys are selling a house in the same neighborhood and your house is better quality. I want the house that sold for the same comp. I don't want anything less than that. And so it's just not right. It's just not right. So again, Stephen A and Swagoo were going back and forth, right and wrong, this and that. But as a whole, I thought they were fine. So I'm not mad, but I will say the Ravens, in my opinion, have let us as fans down by not getting this done earlier. Because if this was done 2 years ago, the contract would not even be a thing. And again, he still won MVP after that. I mean, before that, so we would still have that. So and he would probably be 2 years into it, right? So it'd be almost over, almost halfway over. So it is what it is. But you guys let me know what you think about this video in the comments below. Thanks, and go Ravens.